Well, hello, my YouTube subscribers. Hi, this is me, Samantha, Legal Beagle, and I've been busy doing some stuff. I'm going to talk about a subject, and then I'm going to tell you my follow-up of all the things that I have been doing past the last couple of months from the last video, okay? So we're going to just go ahead and get right to it because I ain't got no sponsors, and, it is what it is, okay? Well, as you know, American Credit, King of Credit, abruptly went out of business. They just shut their doors and did all of that. They sent people texts saying, praise the Lord, your debt is paid off and you don't owe no money and all of that. And everybody was praising the Lord. And I was telling people, you know what, you need to be cautious when you paying whoever you finna pay. You couldn't pay. I had people that was repoing saying, you better pay your bill or they're going to repo your car. You need to go on this website, but they wasn't accepting payments. So people were panicking and there, all of that. Well, they did something that they normally would do with any other creditor, with a subprime lender and all of that. They went ahead and I told people, I said, if that was me, I wouldn't pay it. I wouldn't pay it until I find out what's going on. Because, if they went out of business, if they filed bankruptcy, I'm not an attorney when I say this, but if they filed bankruptcy, then any creditors that would be associated with it would have been the people who had cars. They would have benefited. Well, seemed like American Credit sold some of their accounts to other subprime lenders. Some are worse than others. They sold them. They didn't sell them for the dollar. They probably sold them for the pennies, pennies off of a dollar and just to clear their debts. But which eventually trying to keep them from going bankrupt, which may happen. Well, this lady, I was at the dog park and this lady was on the phone with one of the people, and she had a warranty with American Credit, and they were saying, well, they're not going to honor it. And so she was saying, well, I'm trying to find out how can I pay. And they said, well, you 2 months behind. She said, well, I understand that. She said, but I was trying to pay them, but they weren't there. Well, you 2 months behind. You 2 months behind. Okay. So who was at fault? Now, I know a lot of people say, well, she should have been saving up that car note because she knew she owed and everything. Well, here's another catch. She had a warranty on the car. Well, the new finance company, I think it's Western or something like that, said, you know what, no, we don't care. Her car note was I guess $500 and some, and the warranty was included, and she didn't have to worry about nothing. And they said, well, we're not going to honor that. We're not going to honor it. But they still want the $500 and some. And they took on the old debt, said that she owed for another car that was totaled in a car accident, and American Credit got paid. Now, I ain't gonna lie, y'all in a mess. Y'all are in a bad mess. Because now, at this point, those lenders, those other lenders that they had sold that to, want you to pay that whatever it is. Some people may get repossessed. Some people, but I'm going to tell you what you need to do to protect yourself. Oh, it's going to go to court. I guarantee you, it's going to go to court. It is. But I'm telling you how to protect yourself in the event that this is happening to you. I'm going to give you a scenario of what I would say. I would say, you know what? I was a consumer with this company for that blase, blase, blase. I purchased this car, blase, blase, blase. In the contract, it said blase, blase, blase. And on so-and-so, so-and-so, I had been paying blase, blase, blase. I was not behind. Go out there. On so-and-so, so-and-so, this what happened. As a result, they closed down. as a result, I couldn't make the payments that I would normally make if they was open. Okay, at this time, I didn't know what was going on. They come up and they say, well, you know what? You owe this amount of money. You owe, and you 2-3 months behind. And then use the laws of your state. Use the laws of your state. And then I cite breach of fiduciary. But you have to sue American Credit. If you're going to sue the lending company, you got to sue, or you can't sue the American Credit because they're no longer in business. Well, they may be because, they sold the loans. They sold the loans after they closed up. Somebody is still in business in that company. You just have to do your research. One, anytime a company sells over a loan like that, I would ask for validation of the debt. You may want to check your state laws, regarding, validation of a debt. But most of them are just general. I would ask for validation of debt. If you have a warranty with it, I would ask, and they're not going to honor the warranty, ask them to cancel the warranty. A warranty is a quasi-contract warranty. And you say, well, what is quasi-contract? Quasi-contract means like an insurance policy. You buy insurance, and when you don't need it or you don't want it, you can't pay for it. It just, they just cancel and move on. But in this case, if they do since it's a quasi-contract, they have to cancel it, and then they have to refund you any payments and any kind of interest, because if it's attached to the note, it is being tied into the note. It is there's an interest with it. So so they have to do that. Third, if you don't have the contract, ask them for the contract. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. When they service the loans of Mars, that's what it is. There's a system called Mars. Mars do not have the original contract, but it does have the loan amount and all of that, all your information. In Mars, they sell the loan, not the contract. So they're selling the loan to somebody else, but the contract is still with the original person. I will ask for a copy of the contract. That's why, and if you don't, that's why I tell people you always need to keep your contracts. Get a box. If you're not good at filing, get a box. Put the contract in the box, write the year on it, and everything that's in that year, you can go look for it. That's what I do, because people will sit here and say, well, you know what? When you ask them, well, did you read the contract? No, well, refer to your contract. Well, I don't have it. I don't know what I did with it. They paying on bills that they don't know, and this company is going left field. They selling out. They doing this. They not honoring this stuff. But you didn't read the contract. So you become, as a result of that, you become the prey. So read the contract. If you don't have the contract, then my thing is that you going by blind. I would still fight, but it'll be blind. So you'll have to ask for the original contract. Even though American Credit is not in business, they still have to have them documents. They just can't destroy them documents. They have to have them. They have to have them somewhere. So you can, if you go to court, you can ask for discovery and find the original contract if you can. Okay. Finally, one thing I am going to say is that if you pay on their dispute, if you dispute it, if you don't dispute it, or if you do dispute it, and you pay on it, you're affirming that debt. You're affirming that what they're saying is true, that you're 2 months behind, and as a result of that, they're not looking at the fact that it was sold out. They saying you 2 months behind. And a lot of y'all getting that phone calls now, even though 2 months ago you couldn't pay your car note. Now you 2 months behind. And I'm not going to lie. Everybody say, well, you should have saved that money. when you got bills that's coming up and things coming up, or car repair, or something happened, or you been need things in the house, and somebody don't want to take your money, yeah, I'm going to appropriate it to somewhere else. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you should have saved that money. You should have did this. You should have put it aside. It wasn't your money. It was my money until they take it out of my account. That's the way I look at it. And if I'm wrong, that's it. But if like I said, if I've been in that situation, I'm not finna sit here and tell somebody, you got $500 in the bank and it goes to a card note. Card note don't want to accept it, and then you got some kids that need some shoes, or are hungry, or whatever it is, or your belly growled. Shoot, man, it'd be $300 and some odd dollars. God, you know what? I just have to deal with it when I deal with it. So yeah, so deal with it. This is how you would deal with it. And so, like I said, and once you get the balance and everything right, you can dispute that. They can't tell you the balance over the phone. They can't dispute it over the phone. When they tell you, oh, well, you owe this, Verizon is good at that. Verizon is excellent at that. They'll sit there and have them folks. That's another person who I need to go on and put some papers on. Because they said here, I said, well, I need this. Well, now you owe this. Well, why you need this? Verizon used to be a good company, but now they like Sprint. They got better coverage and Sprint attitude. Y'all don't know that. So anyway, back to the topic that I was saying. So if you got it, like I said, because it's gonna hit as a class action. It's gonna hit there. It's gonna get that way. It's just it hadn't got that way because everybody's scrambling. Consumers are scrambling. So you say, well, what if they could American Credit sell the loan, they sold the loan, and then they turn around and file bankruptcy? That's a good question, ain't it? I know it. But I'm going to tell you how you do that. When they file bankruptcy, even though that debt originated from them, I will file a claim on their bankruptcy. If they file it in California, you file a claim in California. If they file it in whatever state it is, you're in the bankruptcy, you go find out where they filed it at. You can look for it. I have looked for it. I'll give you a good example. Sears had been out of business for over 10 years. But yet my sister had a judgment on her saying that she owed them $27 a month out of her check. So Sears went out of business. Kmart picked it up, bought it, and that was it. Now wait a minute. Kmart bought Sears before Sears went out of business. Sears was getting ready to. They had been gone in years. My sister was still paying on their debt. So the lawyer who knew that at this time had knew that it was a bankruptcy, another bankruptcy was filed. But it was after they had, she had got the debt. It was before she had got the debt. They had filed me and they filed it afterwards. I hope I'm making sense. Well, anyway, that judgment been on that docket for 10 years. 10 years. She been paying that for 10 years. She could have paid it a long time ago, but she called me. She said, Samantha, I just got something from the court, and the lawyers want to reaffirm the judgment for another 10 years and make me pay. I said, well, how much did you owe on the series? She said, I only owe $2,500. You done paid way more than that. She said, yeah. She said, now, if I do it again, they're going to make me pay for another $27 for the rest of the life. Well, at this point, Sears and Discover wasn't getting no money. That lawyer was trying to rejuvenate his income. He needed some money. He probably had a ton of serious judgments, and he was just letting them, because think about it, 5 people paid $27. That's over $100 and some dollars. And after time, he, even if his law practice ain't doing too good, he get a whole bunch of folks of judgment and stuff. He got a nice little penny to keep his stuff afloat. So anyway, I said, okay. So what I did was, I went on Pacer, and I went on Google, found the case. I went on Pacer and found out who the judge was in the case and the docket number and all of that. I said, I'd tell you what. I looked at bankruptcy laws. Bankruptcy law says that anytime, and you need to check it out, it goes under indefinite stay. I don't know the bankruptcy code off heart, but I'm just telling you, indefinite stay. So anyway, so I typed up something. This was in small claims court. It was in general sessions. So I typed up and I said, under bankruptcy laws, I said, I cited the law. I said, this debtor is seeking an indefinite stay of this matter because, and I told him why. I gave him the docket number. I said, any payments that made after this date should be returned to her. She's going to file a claim with the bankruptcy court to get her money back from the lawyers that did all of that. So she went to court. She said, you think it's going to work? I said, I know it's going to work. I said, in fact, I know it's going to work because he going to ask you, who told you that? Judges don't like when people know their rights in court, especially certain people when they know that this lawyer is living off of stuff that really he don't need to be living off of. So anyway, he said, who told you that? She said, my sister Samantha. Type this up for me. She told me that I don't owe Sears and whoever no more. He said, well, I tell you what. Is this a real bankruptcy court? She said, yeah. She said, my sister Samantha said that they had it on in the court records, October of so-and-so, so-and-so. He said, Judge said, well, I tell you what, I'm gonna go research this, and I'm gonna continue this until next week. You come back next Tuesday. That's when his court was on, next Tuesday. She said, okay. She called me. She said, Samantha, they told me to come back next Tuesday. You sure this gonna work? I said, yeah, I know it's gonna work. I said, I put the docket number down. I put where it was at. I put everything down on there. Said how much you owe. That was it. So she went back again the second time. This time it was 9 people in there. They were getting ready to get judgments on them from the same lawyer from Sears or whatever. She went back up in there. Judge said, I checked it. She said, first of all, before I give her my ruling, where's your sister? She said, told her where I was at. What's her name? She told me my whole name. He knew who I was. He called me. Said, I'm going to do a recess. Called me. Samantha, are you giving legal? No, I ain't giving no legal advice. That's my sister. I told her what she need to do. And I did it for her. I said, you know what? I said, that's a federal statute. That's a federal law. That's a federal code. You can't force her to do that. Because if you do, any payments that she made, she gonna file a claim in bankruptcy and get it back. So the only thing he gonna do is he gonna give her back her money that she given. If you order it, federal judge gonna rule what you say. I said, if I don't mean no harm, but if you don't believe me, I said, go on do it. Go order that. I said, as soon as before she leave that courtroom, I said, I'm going to type up something and I'm going to make sure they get it so that that lawyer will start paying her back all her money. You think you're smart. No. I said, and I be down there. I told him, I be down there that week, and then we going to have lunch together. I said, make sure you have enough money to pay for me to eat. I said, because I'm going to be down there hungry. He laughed, and we hung up. She called me on the phone. She said, girl, that judge told me I ain't got to pay. In fact, he told the other 8 people that was in there that they ain't got to pay either. They was down there patting her back and telling her who her lawyer was. She ain't have no lawyer. So right now, even though it's going, you said, well, where did they go? Well, right now, even though it's going bad for the consumers. Eventually, American Car Center, American Credit Center, whoever it is, that's the finance, they're going to probably file bankruptcy. They're going to have to. And when they do, it's going to flip the script. So I'm just giving you some knowledge because, like I said, that lady said she had been on the phone for hours talking to them, and they passing it over because it's not their debt. It's not their debt, and they picking up something that was abruptly ended. But they're not going to tell you your rights unless you go figure it out for yourself. You got to go research. You got to do the homework. I always tell y'all all the time, and I'm going to keep showing this. Get your little book. Buy your little book. Buy your little book. Get you some tabs. You got to have to, because you need, stop. Don't talk to nobody. Stop talking to people. Once you talk to them, you see they going left field. Start writing them documentation. Start emailing them documentation. Start putting in there who you talk to, what time you talk to. Start documentation, because this is what's going to separate you being free and knowing your rights, and you just making up some allegations to get out from paying your debt. Think about it.